Welcome back, everybody. I will be taking a look at things here. I'm very, very disappointed that I have to do this with these players.
I guess.
I'm looking over the stream, Yoshi.
Yeah, I'm doing it as well. In case you need to. Yeah.
Alright. There was a sword next to that encampment.
Yoshi, you want to reschedule that thing for before Tuesday's meeting?
Let's move up. So I'm streaming right now.
There you go. Ay, ay, ay. Either way, reviewed the stream, the sword's in the wrong spot. Looks like they're just playing on. I'm very disappointed in these players that it came to something like this. They know better. It, honestly, it's poor sportsmanship in my opinion, but is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I really don't like handling those kind of cases. Most players here play for fun, right? You don't play to argue about like that one sword, that one archer that which could have moved differently. But I guess like some are very competitive as well, so like each unit counts at their eyes. So did it delete the sword?
No, he retreated it back. He ran it away.
Oh yeah, I see. Yes, through movement because of the general, so he managed to move 3 tiles.
Anyways. Usmet moving his settler down. Gonna get a very juicy settle over here in this mountain range. Even freshwater too.
Yep. And now they start to expand more. Because 3 cities is not enough to win a game really for all of those players. But I think we're entering the mid game right now, the point where you try to secure the land you've got and you try to somehow expand even though you're still warring.
You know, amusingly enough, nobody got a golden age for the classical era. Everyone hit normal.
Huh. That's actually quite I'm surprised by that. It probably means that like all the players were so on par that it got like declared early. So basically, like it's decided when a certain average of points is accumulated to change the era, and then it like says out in 10 turns to change era. So that probably that point was a little too early in this game. That's why nobody hit a golden age. And there's a few good settled spots for. We're looking forward to see him expanding much more as well. I think he really needs to get on 6 or 7 cities by this right now. He needs to just pump out settlers and like show the rest of the game he has a good line for it.
Absolutely. And no, Dunless, there has not been a one city challenge game yet. You should get in touch with Canuck Soldier for that. He has been looking into the one city challenge mod to see if it's been updated. Either way, Mysterious X's push is going to get shut down here. Sure, he might have delayed Korea, but he's kind of ereled himself in the same regard. And if he's not careful, Stasic is going to take a city off of him.
Yeah, I think it was a very greedy play and it didn't pay out, so now he's in trouble. All he needs to do is hold the line and hope to survive, basically, and Korea will still have free reign to expand as much as he can. So unless somehow he gets some crossbows, I think, which is the only way he could really like survive or like, push again on Korea, he will be on the back foot for the rest of the game.
Walls coming up in the capital.
Yeah, with walls, there's really nothing he can do.
He needs to withdraw, get out of these marshes, and just line up and hope he can hold. I mean, Stasic has a balanced army here. He has archers, he has horses, and he has swords. All Mysterious X has is swords and one archer here. Sure, he has a general, but so does Stasic. And a balanced military really showing its strength here.
Yeah. I think the best hope for Mr. Sex is to back out and fortify a line on the hill or on the forest and just make sure that he cannot really like push out. If he manages to, even if he uses his city as part of his wall, as part of his lineup, he can still like manage to hold the line. So horses and archers are not enough to push into swords yet. Although, like Germany has done a good job pushing back Gorgo as well. So in that sense, there's two players, one from each team, which gain an advantage. So the game is very even to right now.
Oh, Varu's coming out for Tom Raider here. It's only one, so it might just be for an envoy quest, but we'll see.
Well, right now is the perfect timing for Varu push. Varus are like little later timing because they're quite long to produce. They probably put the card on, and there's probably going to be a few more Varus coming out. I would really like to see that. And he might go for a city-state conquer. That's what I would do if I were him, because you cannot push with a few Varus yet on the Gorgo.
We'll have to see what happens. I mean, Geneva, it's a science city-state. It's close by. He can send trade routes to it, one of which is about to get probably pillaged by this scout from Ustmet. But, you know, if he can build more, expand more northern, more northeastern, he'll be able to really envelop Geneva. And with that, he'll be able to send a lot of trade routes there.
Well, it depends who's suzerain Geneva, right? So whoever gets a suzerain of it wants to keep it alive. But if somehow the enemy team suzerain Geneva...
Who's suzerain of Geneva?
Nobody. Mohenjo-Daro has been picked up by Skycry. Yeah, Skycry is close. Japan.
I think there's like really at this point the two gold city states and the one science city state are like the most important ones.
Well, Hustler, you don't suzerain Geneva in a team game for its bonus. You suzerain it to deny the trade routes to the enemy team.
Well, to expand more on that, it's the only science city state in the game. So it's the only science city state that's going to give your whole team, you know, the extra science boost from libraries and universities. I hope you don't mind if I'm popping in.
That's perfect. Join us.
Yeah, and then the two gold city states are really important as well because, well, it's more important for KC because they really can't trade with each other yet, or maybe Korea can trade with Gorgo, but they aren't going to really get science anywhere or gold anywhere else other than the two gold city states. And actually, Valletta could be decent, especially for Ustmet, right? Because Valletta gives what's that?
You can buy you can buy buildings in your city center with Fate.
Yeah, so like instant walls could deny a push by like 5 turns.
And it's quite cheap as well.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 15 Fate or something like that to get walls.
Looks like Mysterious X trying to swing around the left side here to go after Chunshan. That's not going to happen very well. Walls coming up in the city, or just been put under construction. This sword can just move to the left. This warrior can get upgraded, and this archer is just sitting comfortably in an encampment.
It's the problem about early wars. It's so easy to defend.
Now, what Greece could do is actually himself take Valletta and buy some walls because he took Gore the. Oh no, he took Patron. Who took the Fate Pantheon?
That was Ustmet. So I was saying Gorgo could get it. What he needs to do right now is to get the crossbows and continue to expand.
I mean, Ustmet's sitting on 6 faith a turn right now.
That's not bad.
And it's all free. No investment whatsoever.
Yeah. 6 a turn for, what, 30 plus turns maybe?
And it's going to grow. Yes, this is online speed.
Yeah.
Not you talking about the cost for to buy walls in with Fate.
Is it like 60 faith maybe?
Well,
or is it less
a
than
player
that?
says it's 45, another says it's 50.
It might be 45. I don't remember. Oh, Dunless was saying 50. Is it
What?
base? It's a standard, consistent cost, right? I mean, it doesn't increase
Not
over
for
time.
Valletta. Valletta is its own scale. I don't know why.
That's weird.
But a big thing here is Skycry picking up Mohenjo-Daro as a suzerain. Now, he doesn't have any theater districts down, but all of his cities on the coast, or anywhere he puts them, will be treated as if they have fresh water. So he can settle these cities wherever he damn well pleases.
I think what's lacking in this game is a religion. I know I'm a very big fan of religion play, and even if you don't win, no, but even if you don't win with religion, there's so many great bonuses you can get from it.
Absolutely.
Japan and Chandragupta both had the opportunity to go for at least one holy site if they wanted to. Well, they could still go for it, but they chose not to do so, and I think they lost a big advantage out of it.
What are your thoughts on first moving and last moving, guys? Seems to be something that those players are talking about.
I mean, honestly, I hate it when it's used against me. I hate using it against other people. Like, if I move one unit, sure. But if I'm moving 4 units before they have a chance, it takes the fun out of the war. Even if it costs me the war by not doing it, you know? It takes away the challenge. It doesn't feel right to me. But on the flip side of the coin, you see these same situations happen in games like StarCraft, Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, all the other things that fit into the similar genres. Masters of Orion, for example, is a prime example since it's also a 4X game, where people with a better computer, better internet connection, they do have an edge over their opponents. So the precedent already exists that it's tolerated in semi-professional games. And once you get into the professional realm of esports, you go to these locations and there everyone's given a computer with equal hardware. But, you know, that's a different beast in and of itself.
Well, the fact that we play Civilization on online speed already makes it a little less true to the real spirit of the game, right? The game is trying to be balanced on normal speed. It's trying to be balanced on many instances. Even if you want to push it, we should do alternate turns. So I do my turn, then you do your turn, like you do in chess, for example. If you wanted to have the game as balanced as you could, but it would take just so long, and players don't want to play for like 20 hours for a single game. So that's why we try to fit different settings, and this is where the first and the last move issues arise, I think, because the game is not being designed to take into consideration first and last moves. It's just now that whoever gets the first or last move, there's more strategies being involved. So now you have to consider that, oh, your archer could be 2 shots, so you don't want to move in. You want to stay there and wait for the opponent to move, right? Or like you do this with most of units right now.
Swordsman Online for Von Holio's Germany here is definitely going to swat Gorgo's hoplites out of the way now.
Are you still doing this stuff, Yoshi?
I'm not streaming.
Oh,
I'm just commentating on the stream.
Oh, okay.
Again with a disconnect from Stasic. What's going on with him?
Oh, swords in Germany.
Yeah, this is becoming an issue. His shit didn't move. Actually, I think his stuff did move. Jesus.
There's still a debate about the fake cost for the wall in the chat.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'll have to go look it up. I'm curious as well. I'm pretty sure it's very cheap on online speed because it takes into account the scaling. So it would be maybe on 60 fit on normal speed, but it would be around more 80 if you do the 2-to-1 production thing on online speed. But I still think Valletta's on a different scale. I don't know why the
I
game
think
design.
Valletta's cheaper for some reason.
Yeah, Valletta is even cheaper, I think. I'm not sure why they designed it this way.
But definitely
It's
Two
like a little
Faith
bit
is
like
more
Arabia.
production. That is correct.
And we have to relob again. Like, this is the second turnover he's DC'd on. Like, this is a bit of a problem. Turn 39. Like, and this comes right back to that first move, last move argument where people with worse computers, what?
One more DC and then
Technically, yes, but this is Agathy's event since he is in charge of TDF.
no, he's not. We both are.
Well, you two can measure together later, but anyway.
Yeah, I know what you know.
Well, I didn't follow exactly. Like, you mean like the rule says you can assign the DCs 3 times per team.
Well,
I would
if he has trouble, if he can't play like more than 5 turns every DC, then there is a problem.
This is the second DC in 5 turns.
Yeah, so I mean,
we could try to sub him as well.
It's a fun clan game, right? You guys should just have fun.
Yeah.
KC can go definitely find another sub. There's a lot of KC members around somewhere. I think Guy was saying he might be able to play, so he could possibly fill in.
Go grab Canuck Yoshi.
Yep. Or even Canuck can play.
Stasic DC'd again. And again, it happened on a turnover, so I had to go back a turn again. And it's being entertained to have him subbed out. Yep. People starting to join the lobby. Still missing a few. I just hope we don't have another issue with or doing the moves right again, because that was,
Yes, like,
when people get that stupid with each other, it puts a real foul taste in my mouth. It just makes me want to walk away from it. Be like, you guys want to be idiots, go over there and be idiots. I want nothing to do with you.
What happened?
I was
nothing
just,
yet.
I was just saying how when people get stupid with each other, get angry, and just start yelling at each other over unit movements, it just makes me just want to walk away from it. Be like,
Yeah,
y'all be idiots on your own.
I mean, at the very end of it, this is a game, and games should be fun. And when people take it too seriously, then it's not fun.
I'm still missing Stasic, Skycry.
Could I talk to you, Agathy, in one of the channels below, maybe?
Sure.
You're in trouble. Ooh.
Maybe.
Ooh.
And Skycry got in there. Ugh, reload. Do apologize to all the viewers out there that have been having to deal with me having to delete folders, re-lobby a couple times now. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about it. People desync and it disrupts the integrity of the game. I have to re-lobby. Did want to throw a huge thanks out there to everyone who's been sticking with it, sticking through it all. And a real thanks for all your viewership and support. I really appreciate it. Even if you guys only stop by for a few minutes, it does mean a lot to me that you take time out of your day to swing by the stream and cheer these players on. While we listen to very loud Firaxis logos. There we go, getting people back into the lobby. Hopefully get this game started ASAP. Skycry got in without an error, so that's awesome. And hopefully Stasic won't disconnect again, because this is... people's tempers are already flaring up because of the last one. I don't want to have to see someone be really silly and just start yelling at each other, because it's like Yoshi said, it's a video game. But then again, I guess you play games like, you know, League of Legends, you see people scream at each other because they miss a CS, right? I hope so. Exactly, guys. Exactly. You know, you get these games to have fun. But why is Annabelle in here? The hell? Not anymore. It's not a scream to win. Oh, great. Another error. Oh, never mind. He's good. Well, I mean, yeah, this is a competitive league and all, and this is a competitive clan match, but there's ways to handle that frustration and not make yourself out to be a complete jackass. Emphasizing the players do the same war moves this time, because apparently it was a huge issue last time. Exactly, Canuck. You know, people don't have to go full Tyler 1 just because, you know, they don't get their way. For those of you who don't know who Tyler 1 is, he was regarded as the most toxic player in League of Legends, and he loves yelling and screaming at people. Now, warranted, he's apparently reformed and all that. I don't care about the politics involved with it. But, point being is that you don't need to go full rage on someone just because things are going your way. And we're back in at last. Now, let's see things. Players are having to redo some war moves again. Super annoying for them, I know, but it's gotta happen. You know, Germany did get swords this turn, so I'll be looking to see those. Oh man, some beautiful settles here available. You know, this wouldn't be too god-awful of a Petra. If he doesn't get it, it's not a huge loss of investment. But if he does get it, it just makes these tiles a little better. You can hear my kids are as excited as I am. Looks like the Vars and the Varus and Archers are going to be moving up, probably to kill Geneva, it looks like. I don't see why else he would move these units this way, using the General to give them the additional movement to push him through.
I am back.
Welcome back, we're loaded in. Players are going through war moves. We were taking a look, seeing that Tom was moving some Varu with the General to get him pushed along the road a little faster, along with 2 archers there. They might be heading up towards Geneva. I think he's going to go and take that.
That's a really good plan, I think. I think that if it takes Geneva and then pushes with knights, do a 2v1 against Gorgo, it would secure the win for the TDF team.
We'll
Because,
see.
like, the thing is, if he doesn't kill Geneva, he has to fight for envoys for it, and he has to fight against a Smith, which has Gogo right now in a very good amount of culture. So he will most likely have lots of envoys to be able to compete for it. It's the only assigned city-state, so it's either the team who has it has more science, or you just remove it so no team can gain an advantage.
But that plays against their favor. KC has both Korea and Japan, who are excellent sim cities.
Well, yeah, that's why I think Tom should take the city, which is he is in the opposite team.
And Skycry did gain Geneva's suzerain now. That just happened this turn. So he's going to have to kill it. I'm very impressed with Skycry's envoy generation this game.
I think he went full culture. That's why he didn't expand too quickly. He got probably a few monuments in the city, and then with those monuments, and like he basically like manages to push his team some civics, important civics, and in the meantime get envoys as well.
And he has a harbor down as well, so we might actually see some naval play. I mean, it makes sense with frigates and eventually battleships, battle cruisers. Wow, too much StarCraft lately. But he can lock down these choke points. Could you imagine? He could drop a city right here, and he could make a harbor next to this fish. So it'd still have a small bonus, but he could put 2 frigates into this 2-tile lake, and they would never. He would never get pushed on land. Those frigates and eventually battleships would destroy everything that came through there.
That is so true. But the main reason why you want harbors is mainly for the gold right now. Because, yeah, it's a good defensive tactic, and maybe he can gain 1 city from Chandragupta, right, to push his capital city. But most of the time, those frigates will have very little use. I don't think anybody will try to push Japan, really. They'll try to kill, like, if I were the TDF team, I would try to kill the 2 other players and then go do a 3v1 against Japan and eventually win, right?
A couple of archers poising up against Germany's northern border here. They came down the road. Not going to get much done, though. They have no promotions, and this warrior sitting here with Tortoise and on a wooded hill literally takes a little bit of scratching, wondering where that acorn fell from. And everyone's switching over to oligarchy, we can see.
I think those units are simply scouts at the moment. I think Gorgo just wants to keep an eye on what's really going on to have a few turns to prepare. Because he doesn't have that many units near Tom at the moment. So he needs to predict what's going to happen.
And looks like still like there are only 2 campuses on the game right now. Korea's Sawan and Tom's one campus that he has. He is running Divine Spark, so he's getting 2 points a turn instead of the 1.
It's actually quite a slow game, this game. If you look at all those early wars and all those early like general grabs, no players really went straight for settlers, right? No players went for a full expand. They all tried to win the game very early in those, invested heavily in those wars for both teams.
I mean, we are going to see Skycry's Japan drop city number 5 soon. I'm hoping to see a lot more settlers from him. He has so much room up here.
Well, you see he has so much room, but at the same time, it's getting slightly later. So like the later it gets, the more riskier it is to expand.
Thank you so much for the follow,
Because
Brother
now,
Paz. Hope you
Tom
appreciate.
could
Hope you're enjoying the
potentially
game
turn on him as well.
as much as we
Although I
are
really
today.
doubt
It's
he
been
will,
absolutely
so I
great.
think Tom will really focus on Gorgo with Germany. And if Japan expands, and he could even approach Germany himself, like if he decides to do so, so it could be a 2v1 against Germany from Japan and Gorgo if they decide to do so. Germany's in a very tough position, honestly, because like he has no discs up. Yeah, he has a few soldiers to defend, but his land isn't that amazing production wise. What he has is still a few forests he could chop out to get a few settlers out to maybe settle the south, where he would be relatively safe. But he's under pressure, and he needs to keep building troops to like push back Gorgo.
He's got to be really careful. These hoplites getting that thrust promotion for an extra +10 against melee class units. So even these swords are going to struggle to deal with this.
Yeah, but I think he's still fine. He can hold the line. I don't think he's under threat of losing any city right now. And he could, if he could play greedy, he could pop out a settler or 2 and go settle like either the river with all those forests or the natural wonder if he wants to. I think that would be his best play because he has to play for mid game. He cannot win early game right now.
Yes, and with Usmip dropping cities behind this, he's not all in by any stretch. And if he has the extra troops, he even has scouts fortified back here for no apparent reason. And he could be using those to escort settlers down to the natural wonder in the river like he said. In fact, looking at the screen here, he could get a couple settles in here easily. Yeah, he could settle on the 131, he could settle on the wheat. And that's about, and he could get a settle there.
Settle spots.
I mean, they'll all expand into these beautiful hills, and all of these bonus resources, never mind the tiles themselves, those are just going to improve Hanses and such. So he can definitely X something out here, but he's going to have to settle those southern 2 cities just to get a diamond with the Magdeburg maybe, or even Ulm, by setting up a 4-city diamond.
I think the diamond is already out of play because of the Corgo's play. The best hope right now is to play Germany, and sure, you can still get a few adjacencies, but it's really, really hard to make it work from this point on. If I were him, I would like... If they kill Gorgo, then he can probably manage to do some decent diamonds and while settling north. That's what I would do if I were him. But again, I'm not the best player around, so maybe my decision or the game is biased right now.
Well, looking at it, he does have the government plaza here next to his capital. He could put a commercial here on the river, get a fat adjacency bonus there, and he could put the Hansa right here next to the 2 bonus resource suites. And that'll be a pretty hefty Hansa on its own.
Yeah. So even if it's not the optimal German placement, it's still very strong, and I think it would be enough. I think that's his best play right now. You cannot really hope to get the perfect like hands-up position.
No, even if he focuses on 2 city diamonds, his only real play for that's going to be the 2 southern settles.
Which he hasn't settled yet, so it would be quite late play.
I mean, Ustmip has literally done his job this game.
You missed a settler snatch on Pericles.
Oh, it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. So Pericles just lost the settler to Gorgo.
And Jerusalem fell to Japan this turn as well. I cannot believe we're seeing naked settlers run around this game this late.
I think he thought he was safe because it was like between him and his ally. But yeah, it's very surprising. Actually, Gorgo might even be able to walk back the settler and even settle a city with it somewhere. There's nothing threatening the scout right now, so he could probably escort the settler for a while.
He could probably settle it right here on this green patch. It is into the mountains, but there is a dead desert tile here that he could get a super fat adjacency on, because that's a 3 mountain adjacency instead of that he would normally lose by settling there, but he'd also have the city center adjacency.
Thing is, if he settles right there, he has a huge loyalty problem with Pericles and Germany. I think his best shot is to try to run it and settle another frontier city with Germany and have troops there defending it.
Yeah, could. Let's see here. Germany can't really move troops to threaten that scout settler, so he's gonna walk away with it for sure. Even tribesmen don't settle naked. Damn. Damn, pizza. Shots fired. And this has turned into a stalemate. Stasic is going to walk away from this pretty much unscathed for the most part. And because the Salwans, they generate so much science up front with such little investment, he's good to go.
Well, the only thing he lost is he didn't settle. He could have been on 4 or maybe 5 cities right now if he wasn't from the push. But the thing is, Pericles hit himself as much because he could have been on 4 and 5 cities as well. So now both players are pretty much on par. And I don't think there's going to be anything happening on this front for a while. I think the main focus will switch on Gorgo.
I don't think these troops are heading to Geneva anymore.
Yeah, it looks like there's a real push going for Gorgo. But Gorgo's getting ready. You see there's 2 archers already there.
Well, because Skycry has Geneva suzerain, he can tell that, hey, I see these troops heading this way. Because Geneva had extra warriors closer to Tom, and they are now dead. So he knows the troops are there.
It's going to be pretty hard for Gorgo now. He will have to defend 2 fronts, so he will be put behind as well. And even though like Tom is doing, he still has free reign to expand himself. So if he does the push, he actually can probably afford a few settlers at the same time. So then we'll select this player. Tom will most probably expand to the 3rd or 4th city towards Gorgo. That's what I would do if I were him eventually. And then Gorgo will either lose the front against Germany or lose the front against Chandragupta.
Very interesting play here. And even has the battering ram accompanying, doesn't know whether or not there are walls, but coming prepared regardless. Lots of more archers coming to support these Varu. And even the general here, Hannibal Barca, stayed within the territory just to give these troops that extra push out the door. Kind of like when you kick your kids out when they're 18, right?
Yep. And what's very interesting is that since he has more than 1 Varu, they stack as well. So if you have 2 Varus next to a unit, it's at -5, it's -10. If you have 3, it's 15 strength. So you could potentially one-shot units with this amount of Varus if he positions them properly. And with the archers in the back, it does apply as well. So that means that if you shoot a unit and it has -10 strength, you basically half a unit, even if it's a hoplite fortified with a hoplite adjacency. So it can be like, it'll be interesting to see how we position the Varus and how like Gorgo defends against this, because it's going to be very tight. And I'd be very happy to see like a Varu going south in Germany's lands as well to get that -5. That would be the only thing he needs to really push towards. Like,
I think that's what this Varu and 2 archers down here are there for. I think they're going to cross the river, and they're going to go after this archer in the back and try to kill these 2 hoplites off. And that will allow Von Holio to literally collapse the front all around these units. And then Usmuk's going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, Usmuk has 4 cities. That's good for him. but it doesn't have the troops yet to defend both Germany and Chandragupta.
Bandar Brunei picked up by Tom Brader, so the suzerain will go to him.
Though this said, Japan is expanding freely as well. So
Yeah, it's on
if
6 cities,
if
almost
Gorgo
7.
like delays the expansion from those 2 players, on its own, Japan might be able to hit Germany and maybe Chandragupta as well.
With how long this game is going, we're likely to see cav from Japan or tanks. Otherwise, I don't see it working out. It's just the distance is simply too great. He will need to really capitalize a lead and be at least an era ahead unit-wise.
While he has the tools to do so, he's been completely unhurt the whole game. So we have to wait. I think right now, like it's still like a long shot, but if Gorgo survives, then it means that the Gorgo's team is on the lead. KC would be the lead.
And even Von Holio telegraphing the aggression here, just moving more units up, really trying to collapse the flank around Ustmip's remaining units down here. Trying to get him to pay more attention to the front with him. And just like I said here, these units crossing the river, they're going to help destroy what's remaining of the front line here for Ustmip. And Tom is just going to try and get the surprise here, try and get the jump on Ustmip, but he's already ready, has hoplites on the hills. Geneva's warrior telling Stasic, hey, there's bad stuff over here. I'm about to hate my life because this elephant's going to step on me, but just so you know.
Well, he's setting up already a defense. He's going to be ready somewhat for the push that is coming. He's probably producing a 3rd hoplite right now to finish the line, maybe even a 4th in his back city, just to be sure. And he's going to settle a new city as well, so he should be fine to hold. The question is for how long? And he probably will lose he's actually already losing the front of Germany's side because he already backed out a few units. So even if he holds the north, he cannot hold the south. And Germany might be able to push Argos in the future. That's my prediction.
Oh, I definitely see Von Holio following up with Tom Brader. Von Holio is a player who works very well with other people in terms of coordinated assaults and even coordinated defenses. Look, a naked settler. That's right, guys. Even in semi-professional play, we have naked settlers.
Well, at least the naked settler is protected by...
What?
Well, there's no units around.
The warrior attacked across the river into the Varu it was adjacent to. Stupid, stupid AI. Did 7 damage and got itself 1 shot. Ooh, horses following up here behind these units, so we're going to have some rapid reinforcements coming. Tom really looking to make a play here.
I think Korea somehow has to help here. He has to send a horse or 2 towards the Gorgo. But the thing is, I don't know how much he's still busy with Pericles right now.
The front seems pretty dead, and he doesn't seem too keen on pushing the issue. But Korea's fallen so far behind, he needs to get more cities out. He needs to develop his empire. And he can't really afford to send units out that way. However, an extra settler came out of Corinth, not more military units, and that is a catastrophic mistake. And now the Varu are in sight of the hoplites here. They are getting onto the hills to try and get a little more defense act out.
Yeah, it's looking very hard right now from Gorgo's perspective.
There he goes, chops out a hoplite.
He went for very greedy. He went 2 settlers, and he's stolen a settler. So he's going to settle 3 cities very shortly. So if the Varro push wasn't coming, he would be in the leading position. But the thing is, the Varro push is coming in a perfect timing, exactly where Gorgo decided to sim and did not do units. So it's a very good a read from Chandragupta here as this push is coming up.
I was a little disappointed to see the settler come out of Corinth, mostly because they knew this was coming, because Skycry has vision from Geneva's units. So they knew the units were coming, and they knew they were coming soon.
Well, he still has maybe 4 turns before the full onslaught is there. Like the Varus are there. Maybe in 2 turns he could start hitting units, but he still has to bring a few archers to bring his whole army there. So he
Yeah.
might have time to get the 3rd uplight out. We'll see. I think he needs now 2 more hoplites to be able to hold this properly, and probably 1 or 2 archers behind him.
I'm really hoping to see crossbow tech land for Ustmip. Because if those archers become crossbows and walls go up in Sparta with that encampment, this is going to get locked down fast.
Well, and we don't know how close they are from crossbows, but how much science does Gorgo does the turn right now?
Right now for science, we are looking at from Ustmip's Gorgo 13.8, 15.5 from Stasich's Korea, Skycry's Japan sitting at 19 a turn. Taking a look over at the TDF guys, 7.7 from Von Holio, 14.7 from Tom Brader, and 12 from Mysterious X.
So even though there's like a slight discrepancy, it's nothing major yet. At this point of the game, like unless you have 20, 30 science lead, you're not really that far ahead because it changes every turn.
Here we go, Varu lining up.
Only problem with that push is since it came from so far, it cannot be reinforced. So the units you see there, that's all he's going to be trying to do something with. But if he doesn't use too many units, that's enough to force Gorgo to produce a lot of military as well. So behind that, Tom would be able to maybe sim from this position.
Tom definitely needs to get more settlers out. He cannot stay on 3 cities any longer. Especially taking Divine Spark, he's really not utilizing it very well.
I'm not exactly sure why Tom didn't go for a 4th city. He has so many good settle spots all around. Maybe lacking a little bit of production, but if he does a few more cities, he would get so much value out of them in science, in culture, and in production in the long run.
Not to mention, he should be chopping horses.
Well, he doesn't have that many forests around. He has maybe 2 forests in his 4-horde city.
He has a double deer chop here as well. I mean, you're not going to chop the woods next to the natural wonder. You're going to turn that into a lumber mill because it's just so good.
Yeah, he has a few chops, but nothing major. I think he already chopped Varus or chopped something because he had more forests before, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe he was chopping city improvements, and he only has the 1 district. He hasn't made any commercials, has the encampment and the 1 campus. That's it. Oh, Hoplight's taking the fight to the Varu, taking it at just below half health.
Thing is, Hoplite is the perfect unit to defend against Varu if you were to try. So because they get, well, they are pyramid, so it's basically like Cav against anti-Cav, and they get those bonus. But it's still very tough because like if you have archer support with Varus, those hoplites cannot hold against archers.
That Varu did promote last turn, so the Varus retreat this turn to the hills, making a solid line there. However, Geneva's chariot being a little annoying here, going after one of Tom's archers. He does have to send the horse back to deal with it. And Builder's coming out, a horse coming out of one of Tom's cities, so it looks like he will be trying to reinforce this with horsemen as they move much faster. But the Varu and 2 archers here supporting Von Holio's forces are starting to push in on Argus. And with that, Ustmip's going to have to make some decisions. You can't first move the world.
No, really, I think the south front will fall. The north front might hold for a while, but even the north, even if he doesn't go for the capital, if he goes straight for the expand, which is about to settle, he might be able to take it and snatch a few cities from Gorgo. And that enough might be enough for final blow, really, because if they manage to knock out Gorgo, they have so much room, so much land to do whatever they want. And Gorgo is right now the player that keeps them in the game. Like Japan is in no mean in position to harass any player. His advantage is that he cannot be harassed himself, but he cannot impact the other players. And if somehow Gorgo falls, it means it's going to be like a one or two versus three, right?
I mean, I honestly feel that their Japanese player being played by Skycry this game, he's kind of dropped the ball. He knew he was alone, knew he was isolated, knew he couldn't be harassed in the early or mid-game. But instead of going full sim, he could have had multiple commercials and campuses down. He could really be going out of control. Like, he should have been dropping campuses and some commercials, running non-stop science projects, just getting more cities out of his capital with Magnus, because, you know, making it to where it doesn't take population off the city. You know, being able to utilize that to its fullest, but he hasn't done so he hasn't been able to create a huge tech lead for his team, or a huge gold income advantage either. His gold income per turn has been low throughout the entire game.
That is so true. Like, he needed to go either full campus district or commercials and harbors, or he needed to go for a very heavy expand. So like get those settlers and basically never stop producing settlers until you don't have room anymore. And since it has been so delayed, it puts his team in a very tough position right now.
I truly feel that if he had just taken advantage of the early time that he had and really just did non-stop science projects with a couple campuses, he'd not only be securing scientists, but he would be getting so much raw science generated and just boosting so many techs for his team. Imagine how much further along the tree they would be.
For culture, Japan is a huge sieve for culture play if you get those districts out. So like, and he has this cultural city state. If he decided to go for a theater district, theater districts, yeah, then he could have had so much culture. He would have been able to hit mercenaries for his team, and even nationalism later on before anybody else. So you could have had much stronger units for everybody.
That being said, he does have some districts coming online now, but I honestly feel this is too little too late. This is stuff that we should have seen a good, maybe even 20 turns ago, if not more.
Well, yeah, at least now he's getting in the game. But I think Japan still helped a lot this team with gold income. I'm looking at how he played it. I think he went for a fish heavy strategy, which is good for gold. And I'm pretty sure he financed both Gorgo and Korea. So he financed Korea to help Korea live, and then now he's financing Gorgo to help him buy and upgrade units.
And you will have your... Please continue.
So in that sense, that's his contribution to the team. But but he could have done both. Thing is, when you go for fish, you also go for growth because you get food. And with food, you get eventually those production tiles that you can work on. And those production tiles, you can utilize them to create settlers because you have a high population, or create districts, which you did neither of them, or you did only half of them, for each of the strategies. Like you went like half and half instead of going for full districts or for settlers.
And you will be getting your wish, because when he captured Jerusalem, it did have a holy site. So we will see religion this game, maybe.
Maybe, but even that holy site is too late, right? Let's say we would have captured this city 10, 15.
You cut out.
Sorry, I'm cut out. Is it better now?
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, if he decided to go for a holy site and capture Jerusalem like maybe 10 or turns ago, he could have gotten a religion now and now it would have an impact on the game, and he would actually have to say utilize the bonus for either gold, science, or culture, right? But now it's just too late to go for a religion, unless Gorgo holds, which doesn't look like he might be able to for a very long time.
And this is something someone in chat pointed out earlier. What is he going to do when these Varo get promoted to have plus 10 against fortified defenders?
Well, he needs crossbows. That's the only thing he could do, really. You can pin down like 2 or 3 shots from crossbows from those Varos, or maybe 4 shots, I'm not sure. But even the crossbow tech is not that close, if I understand it pretty well.
No, that's not at all. And it requires 180 science for machinery in itself, so it'll take several turns, even with the boost.
We might see Germany still back the settler again if he first moves Gorgo on that scout in the south. So it would be basically like Germany would gain the settler from Pericles. The only thing missing really is a wall for a ram for Germany.
Yeah, I mean, that would really seal the deal here.
The wall's up, it's going to be pretty hard for Germany to push very efficiently, but they might still be able to kill the units, which is basically what he needs to do at the moment.
Archers moving up on these hills, too, are going to be able to get shots onto the city center, onto all these hoplites. This is looking pretty rough, especially when these horses arrive.
And the thing is, he's all by himself there. He cannot be helped by any of his teammates, right? Really. He's being 2v1, and there's nothing either Japan or Korea can do to help him. And buying units with gold is very inefficient. So even if they send him a lot of gold, they actually invest so much in that defense, and they're actually losing production and losing it. The investment is not really that strong if they decide to buy units for Gorgo.
Tom using the horses against Geneva.
I'll leave you alone by itself. I'll leave you by yourself for a while. I'll be back in a minute.
Alright. Japan really can't naval harass India. I mean, you got one coastal tile here to the capital, but... Oh yeah, that city blocking up that choke point entirely. That's going to be a nice Petra. And theater square is coming down. A few theater squares coming down from Japan. Going to be a culture play. And this offensive lineup by Germany, supported by the Varo and these two archers, is very formidable. It's going to be really difficult for Usnip to defend this. not looking that great for him. He is moving up a little bit here, getting his hoplites reformed. Super risky right there. More units coming out here. Shots going back and forth onto these Varos and the supporting archers. However, does gun down one of the hoplites, takes the hill with the Varu. This one is fortified up, but is taking heavy fire. Remember, another promotion available to these heavy cavalry class Varu is Barding, which gives them a bonus against ranged attacks. And that is going to make these wall shots and these archer shots not very strong against them. Definitely needs to get more hoplites out to really combat this, but these archers providing a lot of fire support. Meanwhile, in the north, we have the horses encircling Geneva here, really trying to gun this city-state down. However, we do have a 7-city Japan off to the side. It is slowly getting its districts online. We do have a bit more science coming out here from some players, but not that much. Going to be a considerably long time before religion hits the field, so that's not going to really make a big play. Japan going for some writers here, having the theater districts up already. Will definitely be contesting the Greases for those. As far as generals go, no one really ecking out for a medieval general. Admiral's going to be picked up by Japan in a considerable long time, but we're likely to see some more harbors come out. Or do have some really good adjacency potentials there. Lots and lots of builders coming out, running around for Tom's India here. More Varus being produced, horses coming as well. Chooses to fortify the Varu in the city center to give it a really solid strength. Geneva is now under siege. Looking at the front between Korea and Pericles here. We do have the swords. They're just standing by. It's a bit of a cold war here. Players are just building up. Yulcid finally picked up by Stasic. The next one's going to be Aryabhata, and that'll be picked up by Tom's India most likely. Do have to be careful though, because we could see Hapasha get snatched up if they're not paying attention. Alright, coming into turn 52 here. Yep, Korea's still sitting on 3 cities. Definitely not good for Korea. Definitely should be having a lot more out. Cities 5 and 6 are already up for Ustmip now. And he is trying to fight a defensive war on 2 fronts here. Retreating a hoplite back that's wounded. Does need to get the rest into the fight, and that's exactly what he's doing. Ram is unlinked from the Varu. Now Varu fortified on the hill. That's going to be a tough push. Retreats one of the Varu back. That gets gravely wounded. Hits going out onto Geneva City Center here from some of these horses. No, it does not look to be the case. He is promoting the horse instead of taking the hit on the city center. He wouldn't be able to take it this turn. Next turn, we will see Geneva fall. Oh, blocks it by declaring war. Blocks the take for Geneva. They declare war. KC declares war on Geneva, and with that, it auto pieces out with Tom Brader and TDF. So it'll be 10 turns before Tom Brader can redeclare on Geneva to take it. And there is another settler finally coming out for Stosich's Korea. Has to get more going on here. Will Usmip be able to hold? He has a considerable line here. Definitely bought his ally time, but Von Holio's brought up a ram here with these swords now, so we could see a push. The settler that he stole from Pericles does manage to retreat back to Usmip's lands here, so we could see that turn into another city for free, essentially. Plenty more districts coming down. Industrial zone, it's going to be a really nice factory. I'm not sure why India only has 3 cities. He definitely should have more. He had the space. He's making more troops to send to the fight, though. Player is a little angry that happened, but it's not against any of the rules. And look at that, horse is coming out now as well for Usmip. He's going to try and chase down some of these archers. Usmip doing a fantastic job defending against this 2-front attack. However, we'll have to see if Von Holio can get some damage done in the south. Little baby commercial there going on next to the government plaza. I'm really surprised. He instead chose to put Magdeburgs. There's another commercial, so we're going to see a Hansa go down right here, most likely then. A little disappointed to not see the Hansa here next to the double bonus resource or the extra adjacencies, but lots of theater districts being built up by Japan here. We're going to take a look at the demographs. 16.6 science per turn for Usmip's Greece. Stosich's Korea pushing 21.3 science a turn and almost 30 science a turn coming from Skycry. Looking at the TDF side of things, we have 11.2 science per turn from Von Holio's Germany. Tom Brader throwing 20.4 science per turn for India, and Mysterious X's Greece 11.9. At the culture game, Usmip pushing 14.8 culture per turn, Stosich's Korea at 20.8, and almost 30 culture per turn coming from Skycry's Japan. Von Holio's Germany 7.7, Tom Brader's India 11.9, and Mysterious X at 9.9. KC really a commanding lead in culture. They're going to get those key civics so much faster. Can't put the Hans on the wheat. It's on a floodplain. These are all floodplains, my friend. And Tom is now being pushed back by the Hoplite Legions. Geneva never wanted war. More districts going down for our Korean player, trying to stabilize an internal economy. Really dead here on both sides here. I mean, at least Stasic has a builder running around and a settler in the background. But no builders, no settlers coming out for Pericles here. Definitely not nice to see. Now that Von Holio has kind of pushed Usmit back a bit, I'd like to see a settler come out. Just one. But Usmip has a pretty huge military. In fact, as funny as it would be, I'd love to see him go to pikemen and do a mercenary upgrade with pikemen and crossbows and just push. Because you wouldn't be able to stop it until muskets. See the 41 strength there. Yeah. Yeah, promoted pikes. Pretty terrifying. But even then, I'd also like to see some knights, perhaps, to accompany it. Usmip's done a good job with a balanced military force here. He's had swords, he has a horse, lots of hoplites because of all the horses in Varu. But also the archers as well providing support. And really just to show, again, you know, for that balanced military makes a huge difference in Civ now. You can't just go all in with one unit type. Oh. Oh. Shipbuilding, huh? Seahorses. Usmip really taking a commanding position in this game here. Has more than enough troops to hold the line. Just doing an excellent job. I want to take a look again at player demographics here. You need to unend my turn to do that though. We're going to start from the top looking at Usmip's Gorgo. 471 gold and 45 a turn. Holy crap. That's quite a bit. Taking a look at Stasic's Korea. 18 gold a turn, sitting on 83. And for Japan here, what has Skycry been up to? 27 a turn with 40, probably just sending gold over. Taking a look here at Germany now. We have 95 and 17 a turn. Pericles is sitting at 8 a turn with 63 banked. And finally, Chandragupta's India, 111 with 10 a turn. Oh, and looks like we just had a CC. And TDF is CCing. Congratulations to KC for winning the match against TDF's 3v3 team. And look forward to testing the next match with everybody. It was a really great game. We saw a lot of amazing defensive warfare come out. And I cannot really pull up the loyalty specifically on other players' cities. I do apologize. There are limitations to what I can do with this mod. Hopefully Firaxis will fully implement an observer mode in the future where I have access to all of that information. And that's just it. Like, Japan was able to generate money to fund wars. Pericles was able to sit back and just fund the war after he stalemated with Korea. But Ustmip just held on and on and on, and because of that, Stasic was able to generate a lot of money. And with that, they were able to fund heavily into Ustmip's Gorgo, and they were able to just do so much. GG, everybody. Thanks to everyone who came out to watch the match and cheer these teams on. It's been absolutely incredible. Thank you again to both TDF and KC for giving me the opportunity to cast the match. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.